This is another thing that I look at is tracks, and this is something very different to numerology again. And what I look for again, as I said before, is the intensified numbers and the numbers that go with it. So you got a track 11 and the number that goes with it. Now the track 11 means that that's somebody who's got to be in the public eye for some reason or other. They've got to come up with their own ideas about things and communicate them, because 3 is all about expression, self-expression. So he's doing exactly what the numbers are saying he's going to be doing. So he's got to communicate. And he'll come out with new stuff, or stuff that other people haven't talked about so much, but he'll put it together. The 33-8, when you look at the birth date that way, that's the 8 I was telling you about. Again, you're talking at the 3s, the self-expression, the communication, and it can be to do with child abuse, etc. With the 33, and he's very strong in his opinions about it, which is what 8 is. It's strength and very determined, and whether you're right or not, you believe you're right when you're an 8. You've got to be in charge. You've got to be the authority. 8 is about authority. And he's very driven, which is 8. And he also says the same thing over and over again, which is 8. Like, 8s cannot let go of anything. So you can't blame people for who they are. It's just the way these numbers are directing people to be. You know, it's easy to criticise people, but, you know, just walk a mile in their shoes, really. So that's the 11 again, the 3, self-expression, words, art, music, dance, and it'll carry on throughout his life with all that. But, I mean, no number is bad, no number is good, and there's, like, good, bad and indifferent in each one. But they're all different. So like attracts like. What we broadcast, we attract to deal with. The letter characteristics of our names form energy patterns, energy particles and patterns that are constantly broadcast, and the universe responds accordingly. So to answer to a name is to consent to its implications. A name signs you up. And the designs of the letters and the numbers, the alphabet order and all the rest of it, were designed many, many centuries ago by priests working for orders, being directed from outside the human world, I would say. Which means that when you register your name, when your baby's name, you're actually passing on to the authorities what sort of a person you'll be, so that straight away they already know what kind of character you're going to be, what sort of influences they can bring upon you, what sort of experiences you'll have, whether you're worth watching, whether you're not. There's all sorts of information they can get from this. So David comes to 66, intensified number, and Icke to 9. So 66 means that part of the characteristic of 66 is that you will split people apart, because 6 is about people and society, convention. You'll split opinions. You'll find some people who, totally against what you're doing, and some people who are with you all the time. But on the plus side, it can also bring people together. It can bring people to understand something very different. So when we add it all together, it comes to a 3, which again is self-expression. It's about writing, art or music or any of these things. In some way you've got to express yourself when you're a 3. So how to work the numbers out. There's a bit more to it than that, but we'll deal with that later. Radical changes of perspective is common to a 66. Now the difference between a 9 and a 6, both of them are compassionate, both of them are caring. But 9 is much more detached than a 6. 6 will get very involved with people's problems. They want to help. 6 is about service to others. 9 wants to do that as well, but it spends most of its time in the mental realm up there. So rather than being a physical plane, which is the 6, in most of it's here and involved, 9 likes to be up there in its mind. So it's learning. If it's a name, it's learning to detach, not get too involved in people's problems, so help them anyway. They also absorb information very well. I've shown you all these different formula that you can do for someone's name, and always looking for the intensified numbers, because they will show the strongest potentials for people. And we get, with this track here, we've got a 777 there, and that's a very magical, very mystical vibration. It's a lot of unseen stuff goes on, stuff that's not visible to a lot of other people. A 7 has that anyway, but imagine 3 of them. So there you've got his story about when he was on the mountaintop in Peru. You've got the voices in the bookshop, all of those things that, true. That's what happens with 7s. So when you look at a 77, it comes to 5. So there again, he's got that track of 77. So it is about freedom of speech, etc. He finds that very important, that people should be able to say how they feel, so long as it's not against him, mind you. He doesn't like that much. But if it's against anyone else, he's all for it. But that's his 77 vibration. It's very below the radar, very undergroundy. That's why the London bombings happened on the 777 date. It's underground, it's hidden. And then he's got a 88 track there, which means that whatever he does, he needs to be very persuasive with what he does. People have to kind of take it on board, or listen to him anyway. And he'll say it with real strength, and he's sure of himself, and that's what an 88 will do. They're not necessarily leaders in themselves, but they need to be people who other people will take notice of what they think. But then again, an 8 is an accumulator. So 8s gather followers. They gather people together in groups. That's 8, all accumulation. But he's also one-tracked. 8s are one-tracked. So it's ambition. I want to get there, I'm going to go there, and he'll get there, because it's only one track. And he'll communicate, he'll write, he'll speak, he'll travel, because 5 is travel. He's doing exactly what his numbers are saying. He also had a 44 track, and that's transformation. It's different worlds. It's kind of going from one world to another. It can be like in the material world, it might be going from, I don't know, working as somebody on a boat to somebody working on the land. I mean, it's just that kind of stuff. It's working in different areas. Now, I'll show you something about this in a minute, but a lot of people here will be 4s. I'll speak about that in a minute, but that will be a strong number amongst people here. 33 we've been through. 6, the family society, the gathering, the caring, loyalty. Can be dogmatic, mind you. So there's his numbers that we've run through. So this is the number that you're tested on throughout your life at different points. How much you've learned from the energies that your name names are putting out, and your birth date. How your talents and your abilities and your potentials are coming together, and how you're using them, how well you can synthesize them. So it's your birth date and your name together. And he's got all these different tracks. So he's got a very complicated life. It's not an easy life. It's not something that a lot of people could deal with. So it's very stressful. Lots of different potentials there, and ways of dealing with life. And 8 is there, so he's always needing to be up there and listened to, and he doesn't give in. He's not somebody who will give in. He's perpetual. He'll keep going.